It's the middle of the week, and this is the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. What's next for you? Visit cnext.bank for more, and thanks so much for joining us as we hit the middle part of this work week. Let's jump right into it and take a quick look at the forecast. We have had some overnight thunderstorms, nothing overly concerning, not like what we saw yesterday morning where we had the heavy rainfall in Madison Parish and Warren County that prompted the flash flood warnings. But we have had some pesky storms, a weak little upper level impulse that has fired off a few storms. We had some in the southern parishes actually late last night and early this morning, and now what's left over is kind of crawling out of the Shreveport-Bossier area, moving through portions of Bienville Parish and northwestern sections of Wynn Parish. So if you are driving in those areas this morning and you've seen the rain or maybe even some sprinkles up into southern Lincoln Parish, Ruston, Grambling, some of the surrounding areas, most of that rain is actually kind of decaying, weakening with the strongest storms kind of to the southwest of the Lucky community. Out over Bienville Parish. Quick check at rain totals on over the last 24 hours. Some of these are radar estimated, and the radar estimates nearly 1.5 inches of rain at the Monroe Airport. I will say, according to the ULM, the Louisiana Mesonet powered by the University of Louisiana Monroe, that looks like Monroe only saw, at least out by campus, only saw about 0.08 of an inch of rainfall yesterday. But we saw some heavier rain here at the house in Midtown, and then Lake Providence, I believe Lake Providence officially from the Mesonet seeing 1.73 inches of rain, but obviously there were some locally heavier downpours a little bit more than that. Jessica, good morning. Thanks so much for joining us on this Wednesday, and again, appreciate everybody taking the time to get a quick check of the forecast. So there's a look at rainfall totals, check of visibility. Just keeping an eye on fog potential this morning. Visibility down to 3 miles in Magnolia, but aside from that, most of us are generally doing fine, and it's a pretty comfortable morning out there as well. Upper 60s to low 70s for most of the region. Look at Futurecast, made possible by Bayou Power Sports. I-20 frontage road in Monroe shows the scattered storms still festering across the area again today. Not necessarily disruptive, but it will bring at least the potential for some periods of heavy rainfall. Those may be quite isolated, kind of like what we saw yesterday. Some gusty winds at times. The overall severe weather threat looks pretty low, but again, an isolated rogue strong storm still can't be ruled out across the region. As we go into the night, the rain chances start to dry out a tad. We'll see upper 60s to near 70. As we start the day on Thursday, and in most locations we'll see a pretty sharp warm-up back into the mid-90s or low to mid-90s for Thursday, and then for Friday for high school football plans aiming for mid to upper 90s, and not necessarily the 100-degree mark, but some 97s and 98s seem very possible during that stretch. Good morning, Eddie. He says, go Tigers. They actually looked pretty good this past weekend. Actually, I don't know if it was a combination of LSU looking good or if it was Clemson looking bad or maybe a combination of both. That first half was pretty ugly. Second half, they looked great. Anyway, a look at skies clearing as we go through Thursday and Friday. And the rain chances start to kind of thin out of the forecast for at least a few days before they sneak back in with that series of cold fronts this weekend. Good morning, Julie. Thanks so much for the rainfall report. 3/4 of an inch near Well Road. Again, some of the scattered rain totals are not surprising to see them at that level. And nephew Cooper's on this morning. Good morning, Cooper. Hopefully you have a great day. Go to school. Go learn something. Either way, a look at tropical development. Again, all your tropical forecasts made possible by Russell Moore Lumber. You can see the big red area just showing and pinpointing the possibility of tropical development as we go through the next 7 days. Again, likelihood of that looks fairly high at this point. But overall, as you take a look at the satellites, the sun starts to rise on the open Atlantic. There's not a whole lot out there that's overly organized. We do have that tropical wave that we are watching, but nothing really showing any kind of spiraling of circulations and that a tropical depression is currently forming. But I think conditions will be favorable for that over the next few days. Janice, good morning. Thanks so much for joining the Digital Weather Desk, powered by Century Next Bank. Afternoon highs today will be near 90 degrees. A few scattered storms again remain a possibility. Rain chances only about 30%. Stephanie says only just shy of 1/4 inch of rain at her house in Swartz. Again, a lot of scattered rain totals, and that kind of is the same story today, where you see the rain. Some of it could be quite heavy at times, but a lot of us just won't see the rainfall. Winds will be out of the northwest. Lows tonight, upper 60s to near 70. We will see the gradual clearing. The last of the rain scoots out relatively early. That 10% rain chance really accommodates the early part of the night, and then as we head to the overnight, the rain chances scoot out. Mid-90s for highs Thursday, upper 90s for highs on Friday. Again, high school football plans beware. Scattered showers and storms a possibility Saturday, Sunday, and then we should trend at least a smidge cooler early parts of next week with daytime highs back in the upper end of the 80s and morning lows in the upper 60s. So we are going to trend below average, just not drastically below average during that stretch. We'll give a quick refresh to the forecast as we head toward midday. Your Too Long Didn't Read comes out in a couple of hours, and that's a look at your forecast for this morning. Have a great day. Be safe on the roadways as you head to work, and we'll catch you in a couple of hours.